Elizabeth at A Literary Princess, and today I am doing my June TBR. So I accidentally took a little bit of a break from making videos. I was at a conference last week and I just didn't have time to film any videos before I left. So, oops. But the conference was the British Women Writers Conference. It focuses specifically on 18th and 19th century British women writers with a little bit into the 20th century and into the 17th century. But it was amazing to be around people that just do the same thing I do. I had a wonderful time. My presentation went well. It was amazing. Before we get into the TBR, I actually do have an announcement regarding the George Eliot project. It's going on a little pause for right now. I have been stuck on The Mill on the Floss, which is my favorite Eliot book, for the last 2 months. I realized that it's keeping me from reading stuff that I need to read for my dissertation. And I guess it's maybe because I just reread The Mill on the Floss last year, so I'm feeling like I don't really want to reread it again. But I am going to put the George Eliot project on pause for now. I will come back to it. I don't know if it'll be this year or if I'll start it up again next year, because I do want to read all of George Eliot's works in publication order. But right now, when I'm trying to get my dissertation proposal done and I have to be figuring out what books I'm reading for my dissertation, it's just not a good time. So, and also, I felt like I would be reading for my dissertation and then my fun book would be George Eliot, and I needed lighter things. So you'll notice that a lot about this TBR. I've got some academic things, but then I have a lot of really light reads because I just need a break. I need a break. So let's jump into the TBR. We will start with books that I'm reading for my dissertation. There are 4 of those. This first one does not have a cover because it's a library book. What else is new? This is Outside the Pale, Cultural Exclusion, Gender Difference, and the Victorian Woman Writer by L.C.B. Mitchie, I guess that is. Title is pretty self-explanatory for why I'm reading it. Victorian women writers, gender exclusion, reasons for being left out of the canon, that type of thing. Yeah, it's not too long, so that's not even 200 pages with notes. So hopefully I'll be able to get through it pretty quickly. Next up also doesn't have a cover because it's a library book. This is the autobiography of Margaret Oliphant. So obviously Margaret Oliphant wrote it. It is edited and introduced by Elizabeth J., who is a major Oliphant scholar who actually wrote the biography of her that I will be reading. So my whole first chapter of this dissertation is on Margaret Oliphant, and I'm kind of using her as the basis for how I treat all these other women writers. So I'm going to be reading a lot of biographies of her, and of course her autobiography will be very helpful. Next up is more Margaret Oliphant, and it is a library book that has a cover. When have I ever said that? Because it is a paperback. This is Salem Chapel. It's one of her Chronicles of Carlingford novels, and it focuses on Arthur Vincent, who arrives in Carlingford to become the dissenting minister of Salem Chapel. I'm excited to see what else Margaret Oliphant has in store for me. I just love her books so much. This will be my 4th novel by her, but my 6th work, because I read 2 novellas in May. I promise I know what month it is. I don't think I know what month it is. It's fine. Anyway, I'm so excited for this. I actually have a copy on my Kindle, but since the library had the physical copy, I was like, I'm just gonna grab it. So I did. And then the next one that is up for my dissertation is one that I tried to read earlier this year and actually DNF'd for a little while. This is Under Two Flags by Weta. Weta is one of the authors I am working with in my dissertation. and I really like her, but I just couldn't get into Under Two Flags, specifically while I was reading a George Eliot book as well. It just wasn't happening. So I am going to start again. I'd only gotten 2 chapters in, so it's not like it's a big starting over point. So we'll try this again, and hopefully I'll be able to give it a little more time. Next up is the Fairy Tale Friday read for the month. This is Dark and Deepest Red by Anna Marie McLemore. I have had this on my TBR for ages. It's been on TBRs on here before, and I'm finally going to get to it. I absolutely love Blanca and Roja by McLemore, which was a retelling of Snow White and Rose Red, and I'm so excited to see what they will do in this retelling of the Red Shoes. This will be posted on my blog. But will it, Elizabeth? But will it? Because the last 2 aren't up yet. I'm bad at this. What can I say? Hopefully all 3 of these will be posted on my blog. This, Snow and Rose, and Little Thieves will all be on the blog this month. I shouldn't make promises I can't keep. Next up, I have 2 physical books that are just for fun. First up is actually one that was lent to me by my friend. This is The Flight of Gemma Hardy by Margot Livesey? I don't know if that's how it would be pronounced. I don't know. Anyway, this is a retelling of Jane Eyre. My friend actually wrote a paper on this in grad school. So she thought that I would like it because obviously Jane Eyre. And I'm really excited to see what it's like. If you saw my everything just shake, it is because Pippin decided to jump onto the table. You are naughty. Anyway, I have had this for way longer than I should have, so it's time to read it and get it back to her. The next one was also on my TBR for May. This is The Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arikawa. So I started another project, kind of, about reading the books I have on my shelves in alphabetical order by author if I don't have like a reason to pick a specific one up. I just didn't get to this in May. I feel like I didn't get to too much in May, but I will be getting to this. It's not long. I'm imagining it'll be emotional. That's another reason I didn't get to it in May, because I went and saw the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and warning, there is a lot of animal cruelty and death in that movie, and I was like, this is an animal book. I can't deal with any more animals dying or being sad. I can't deal with it. So I was like, next month. It's fine. But yes, I am excited to see what this is about. And last up, I have 2 arcs. The first is Thief, Liar, Lady by D.L. Soria. This is coming out in July, so I'm like, let's get a head start on it. And it is a retelling of Cinderella. It sounds like this is kind of more like Cinderella is conning the people in the palace, which is a bit exciting. I'm interested to see how it is. Love me a good fairy tale retelling, as you all know. And then the second arc is A Long Time Dead by Samara Berger. This actually came out in May, but it was one of the ones that they were like, hey, you want to still read it? I was like, yeah. It is a historical fiction set in the Victorian era. It deals with a romance between 2 women, and it also has vampires, so sign me up. So that is what I am going to be reading in June, hopefully. Let me know down in the comments below, have you read any of these? What did you think? What are you reading in June? It has been great chatting with you. I will see you soon. Bye.